Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, February 17th. Okay, so we have the moon in Gemini all day, which means that we're all up in our headspace. We're chatty Cathys. We're curious George, if you will. We definitely are looking outside of ourselves for stimulation. We have a lot of questions that we would prefer answers to. And of course, we are digging deep in our heart space and our mental plane for something new, for something stimulating, for something exciting, whether that's interactions or a little aha moment of inspiration, whatever the case may be. Our mental planes are working overtime, especially seeing as we are nearing the end of Aquarius season. We have air on air action here, the sun in an air sign, the moon in an air sign, which means that we are definitely pushing the boundaries of our thoughts, of our ideas, of our dialogues, of our inner narratives. There's a lot going on. We're definitely popping off with aha moments. We are receiving downloads. There is a sense of clarity. And then that kind of goes away very quickly and we're back into a state of confusion. The ebb and flow, back and forth, back and forth. We do find a common ground in the middle of some of our thoughts, some of our questions, some of our curiosities, if you will. But this moon in Gemini is definitely keeping things light, keeping things a little bit bubbly, so to speak. We could definitely use that energy as we navigate some of the tougher interactions that we are definitely going to face here today. So, with 8 different aspects taking place here today and 7 of them involving the moon, we are going to have an interesting time of pushing the boundaries of our perspective, of our understanding. Now, the only interaction that doesn't involve the moon is a pretty big one. We're talking about Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, fresh into this Aquarius energy. Again, shifting into the Aquarius energy here on the 16th. We have Venus coming together with Pluto. Again, Pluto there at that 0 degree of Aquarius energy was waiting for Mars. And of course, Mars and Pluto had their conjunction on Valentine's Day. A little bit of a reason why this particular Valentine's Day was so interesting with the energies. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the ascension forecast for this week. If you want to pop over to that particular arena, kind of do a deep dive, if you will. Venus is now up to bat with Mr. Pluto. Pluto, of course, the great transformer himself in this Aquarius energy, really showing us in a futuristic, visionary type of aspect what it is that we need to do to change and transform our relationship dynamics, our finances, our money matters, our happiness, our joy, our safety, our security, our stability. We definitely have a lot of heart activations going on. We have a lot of, I'm going to say, confusing emotions that we are currently sorting through. And we are still transitioning from that old version of self, that old set of values, that old list of happiness, wants, needs, and desires into the new one. And it's not going as smoothly as many of us would prefer. And so there is a little bit of intensity here. So Venus conjuncting, coming up to, bumping into, teaming up with Pluto, definitely going to intensify our heart space, our emotions, our wants, needs, desires. And there is going to be this element of impulse where we want to take action and make moves to rearrange, redesign, restructure the way that our physical realms actually look, how they actually operate, especially where relationship dynamics and money matters are concerned. The moon in this Gemini energy going to make a positive interaction with Neptune. Neptune, of course, in his place of power in Pisces energy. I actually really like this energy because, of course, the Neptune and Pisces energy is our intuition, is our spiritual selves, our imagination, our creativity, our dream state. And mixing that with the logical, practical mind space of that Gemini energy, emotionally speaking, we're actually getting little glimmers of good ideas. We're actually seeing where it is that we can see a path, a plan, a strategy forming on how it is that we're going to bring some of these goals, these dreams, these visions to life. Things get a little bit tough though, because the moon in Gemini then goes ahead and gets into the boxing ring, fighting it out with who? Saturn. Mr. Karma himself. So Saturn rules over roles, responsibilities, commitments, obligations, structures, foundations, willpower, and discipline. And he's in this Pisces energy. It is an ending of a cycle. It is a cleansing, purification time, especially when it comes to deconstructing old belief systems, old dreams, old visions, old karmic weight. So the square is going to provide tension and conflict in order for us to realize where it is that we're feeling torn, where it is that we're feeling kind of blocked and challenged. And because Mr. Saturn does kind of restrict us in a particular area of our life, we are definitely going to feel where that restriction is. So we are likely going to feel the weight of the world, the weight of our roles and responsibilities, the weight of our commitments, our obligations weighing very heavily on our shoulders, on our headspace, in our heart space. And the clash here is that we're trying to stay so freaking positive, thinking about what it is that we want for ourselves in a futuristic vision, in a dream, in a goal sense. We are so focused on trying to keep the vibes high, really aligning with something that makes us excited with the futuristic realm of the possibilities that we're currently trying to contemplate. That's really kind of aggravating us, sucking the life force energy out of us, kind of bursting our bubble, if you will, to have to feel the weight of the world of the present moment on our headspace and heart space when all we're trying to do is lighten the vibe for futuristic goals, visions, and dreams. So we sit in that funk for a little bit of time. Now the moon is going to help us out because the moon's going to go ahead and make a positive interaction with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He's in Taurus energy. So it's been a very, very low, slow build from May of 2023 to see where it is that we are making small adjustments, small, little, tiny changes to our physical realm. Especially we're creating a new physical realm that kind of represents our higher selves a little bit better, that looks good, that feels good, that is very much in alignment with our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. It's been, again, a very low and slow transition. However, Jupiter, he is pretty optimistic. He's pretty confident that we have what it takes to actually build towards a new dream, goal, and vision, where there are new opportunities for growth to be had, so to speak. And this particular interaction is definitely bringing us out of that tension, conflicting feeling that we had with Mr. Saturn. We're starting to build ourselves up again. We're starting to, again, kind of compartmentalize. Yes, in this present moment, we do have roles and responsibilities, obligations and commitments that we've been made very clear of that with that earlier interaction with Saturn, but we're able to kind of compartmentalize it at this particular point in time to continue to shift and orient to the positivity, to the confidence, to the excitement that we're trying to conjure up and cultivate about futuristic vision, goals, and dreams. Jupiter's going to help us out with that. We do have the moon interacting with Pluto, though, in not the nicest way, but it's not the worst way either. It's kind of like a meh, blah type of realization. Of course, Pluto wants us to change. He wants us to transform. He does a deep dive in our psyche to examine the conditioning, the programming that's kind of keeping us held back. Now, the Gemini energy that rules over the lower level of the intellect, we can only go so far with our conscious awareness on where it is that some of the negative narratives, the inner dialogues may not be helping us to make the changes, the adjustments that we absolutely need to make, not only in our inner realm, but to the inner narrative that is needed in order to build towards something new. So we're kind of being tested there. There's an intensity taking over our heart space, our head space, really showing us where it is that we kind of have to rewrite certain narratives, certain visions, certain goals for certain dreams, because the old programming is kind of outdated. It's holding us back. It's not making us feel like we're in a placement of power or we're even in control of our emotions, of our thoughts at certain points throughout the day. And so the moon is going to help us out again by sextiling, beautiful interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who of course is in this Aries energy. So this is going to help us out because we're building ourselves up. We are seeing ourselves from a new set of eyes, so to speak. We're recognizing where the painful experiences of our lives thus far, They haven't really happened to us. They've been happening for us in order to push us into our power, into our strength. So because this is a positive aspect and we're tapping more into the healer side than the wounded side, we are seeing the growth. We are seeing the ability to heal ourselves. We're seeing how far it is that we've actually come, comparing ourselves, this current version of self, to how it is that we would be handling some particular circumstances even a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So there is a point of growth. There is a point of evolution. The moon is then going to make an awkward interaction with Venus. Venus, of course, fresh into this Aquarius energy. We're still kind of adjusting to this particular energy, and we're really not quite sure how we think, how we feel about some of the existing relationship dynamics, some of the circumstances, especially affecting our physical realms where safety, security, stability is concerned, especially connecting to our financial situation. So this is definitely going to put us in a headspace where we're starting to review who and what makes us happy, who and what does not, who and what is making us feel safe and secure, who and what does not. And again, this is a re-evaluation of some of the things that we thought we were sure of even a couple of weeks ago under the full moon in Leo, that of course activated that major change in our heart space. Now we're needing to sort out, kind of dissecting, if you will, whether or not the dreams, the goals, the visions that we had just a couple of weeks ago are the same goals, dreams, and visions that we currently have at this particular moment. This is going to be a heart activation just as much as it is going to pressurize our headspace. We are very much trying to sort through the good from the bad, what is working versus what isn't working. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Gemini energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. This somehow is going to renew our soul and our spirit. We are just thinking differently. We're having different ideas. Our emotions are sitting differently with us. We now have a little bit of a glimmer of hope, a little bit of clarity on where it is that we would like to go from here. And this kind of restores a little bit of a sense of mission, of purpose, a little bit of a path, a little bit of clarity towards the strategy that is needed in order for us to get on the right path, to get to know ourselves first and foremost once again. And with that, we establish the wants, the needs, the desires of this new version of self, which again is kind of tough for us to feel as comfortable, as familiar in as we would be hoping to be at this particular point of this identity transition. So it is a major aspect that we are going to kind of wrap the day up on, which is kind of renewing our sense of just kind of feeling like everything is going to be okay.